teams are on their way. Ulster have been in pretty invincible form in the Pro 12 at Ravenhill. The last team to win here in the competition was, guess who? Leinster last April. Let's see how things shape up tonight in the company of Bryn Cunningham and Jim Neely.
Well, compliments of the season to everyone. It's a cold, damp, dank night here at Ravenhill. There's a man who's lifted the Heineken Cup on no fewer than 3 occasions, the redoubtable Leo Cullen, the captain of a very, very good Leinster side, who have come here like Ulster, hoping to get themselves back on track after Heineken Cup disappointment. Was a little bit of doubt about Sean O'Brien, but he's fine, and Kevin McLaughlin's back in, and it's the same back row that caused Ulster so many problems in the Heineken Cup final last May. A lot of big names missing from the Leinster back division, but any side with Owen Red and Gordon Darcy and Fergus McFadden in it is not a bad side whatsoever. Ulster side coming on the park, having left here a week ago, heads down, very disappointed indeed, but a capacity crowd, the majority of whom is supporting this Ulster side, are back hoping that Ulster can get their season back on the rails. The unbeaten record had to go at some stage. It went last week on the European stage, but this is not just the bread and butter, this is the meat and 2 veg. There's the Ulster pack. Neil McComb drafted in because of injuries, not just to Johan Muller but Dan Toohey. Reshuffling the back row, Nick Williams in his favourite position of number 8, and Robbie Dyack, the versatile Robbie Dyack, who can also play in the second row, in at 6. Significantly, Luke Marshall gets a start beside the man with whom he played for the Irish Wolfhounds against Fiji, Darren Cave. Craig Gilroy back in the starting lineup. Andrew Trimble moves from the left wing to the right wing. A capacity crowd. There's one of the top referees in Ireland, indeed the world at the moment, George Clancy, World Cup referee a year ago. His touch judge is also from the IRFU, Peter Fitzgibbon, and Ollie Hodges. The TMO is Dermot Maloney. So Leo Cullen and Sean O'Brien, Cian Healy, Devin Toner, all awaiting the kickoff from this man, Paddy Jackson. Just tweaked a quadricep a week ago, but he's back to full fitness. Good start by Ulster, taken immediately. Pienaar, Robbie Dyack. Good start by Ulster, they need a good aggressive start. Jackson misses out Cave. Luke Marshall, Jared Payne thought about sliving it to Trimble. Brendan Mackin's got himself in the way. Ball coming back on the Ulster side, and the referee's given a penalty against Ulster.
Well, Ulster will be disappointed with that, Jim. Obviously it's the first ruck area that they wanted to be strong in that area. Last week that's where they were poor. Northampton blew them away, just like Ulster had done to Northampton the week before. And this opening 5 or 10 minutes is absolutely crucial. The crowd are in festive spirits right now. They'll want to see a big Ulster win, and they'll have to make sure that they're dominating the physical contact area.
Ian Madigan, who's been playing a fair bit of his rugby in the full back position for Leinster, back in his preferred position of outside half. Not the longest kick in the world. Ribald cheers from the Ulster fans, but Leinster will have the throw in to the first line out. But Jared Payne just stepped back inside. Good tackle eventually by Brendan Mackin. Ulster fans thought he may not have got away from it quickly enough. It was Rory Best who I think came right round the wrong way. Away by Leinster from the first line out. O'Brien takes it on. Ulster meet him head on. Footwork, fancy footwork from Redden. Madigan once again using Brendan Mackin, who's a fairly hefty big fellow in the middle of the park. Looked like a turnover ball back on the Ulster side. Pienaar, John Afoa, Neil McComb back in the side. Pienaar again, Cave inside to Robbie Dyack. Good continuity by Ulster, they need the quick ball. Afoa slips inside Cian Healy. Pienaar, Jackson, Chris Henry. Jackson again, Luke Marshall, clever stuff. Good covering tackle by O'Brien. Surprise, surprise. Good show by Jared Payne. Gets up to the Leinster 22. Pienaar. Tom Court. Good strong run by Court. His opposite number, Cian Healy, brings him down. Pienaar. Darren Cave. Rory Best. Referee's given a penalty against Leinster, and all that Ulster pressure has proved productive.
Well, that's exactly what Ulster needed to do. 1 to 15, everybody getting their hands on the ball nice and early and going through the phases, and already starting to get a couple of soft shoulders on the Leinster defence, and they'll be very, very happy that they've made a few inroads nice and early. And obviously this is an important start for Paddy Jackson. He'll want to have the kicking boots on right from the off and get 3 points and get Ulster well on the way.
Yeah, seemed to injure his right thigh, Paddy Jackson, last week against the Northampton Saints, and was a doubt for this game, but he's recovered very quickly, and somebody said that's remarkable just how quickly he's recovered, and my answer to that was, well, he is only 20 years of age.
Precisely. I think guys of our age will take a lot longer to recover, so these guys are made of sterner stuff, I think, these days.
I'm so pleased that you even considered putting me in your age bracket, generation bracket, not even. Anyway, focus of attention is Paddy Jackson. And he's missed that one. Well, somebody did a bit of ill-natured booing there, which really is not befitting this fixture, the oldest fixture in the Irish interprovincial calendar. They first met just down the road at the old North of Ireland ground at Ormeau 137 years ago. Ulster won that by a goal, which was a converted try to nil. No points thus far. Luke Marshall keeps it in field. Andrew Trimble, he will have a go. Well shackled by Leinster. Pienaar, Jackson, he's disappointed with that kick. Gilroy to chase. Well taken by Leinster. Just inside their own half. Redden on the narrow side. Noel Reid, the new Leinster fullback. Chance now for Ulster if they can break away. Robbie Dyack goes to ground. Bit of a contretemps between Leo Cullen and Tom Court, I have a feeling, off the ball. Here's Jackson. Trimble had to check, so the momentum is gone. Good covering by Madigan. He's given that plenty of height. His opposite number, Jackson, covers back. Does he get away from the first tackle? Here's Neil McComb. Ulster need this a little bit more quickly. Now they have it. Payne again. Ulster have to check, so the pass is not going in front of the man. Here's Nick Williams. Crowd-pleasing stuff as ever. Jackson thought about the inside pass to Marshall. Ulster still inside their own 10-metre line. Rory Best. Pienaar has a glance to his left, then comes right. Darren Cave. There's a man over here if they can move it. Trimble. Trimble very nearly made it. Pienaar. Good call by Luke Marshall. Into Cian Healy. And all the pressure again coming from Ulster despite the wayward passing. Here's Payne. Rory Best out on the wing. Knocked backward, says George Clancy. Good recovery by Best.
Ball was inside.
Sweet little kick. And well gathered in by Noel Reid. Paddy Jackson. Now, considering his options, that's one of them. And that's not a bad one. Somebody needs to chase it, and somebody has chased it. And it's Craig Gilroy, and Darren Cave is in there as well. George Clancy having a really good look. Good pick-up and drive by Cian Healy. Michael Bent playing at Ravenhill for the first time. That came off an Ulster player. And Ulster got themselves offside. And I'm pretty sure I heard George Clancy say number 6, which would mean Robbie Dyack.
There was good retention of the ball by Ulster there, and what will be interesting will be the battle of the 10s here between Paddy Jackson and Ian Madigan. Jackson has certainly had to step on him in terms of Irish levels at the moment, but obviously Jackson will still be reeling a little bit from that final last year. He'll obviously have put that to bed, but there'll be a little bit of nerves as well, and his opening few touches, that first kick was probably just down to nerves, and he's settled down well now. He had a couple of nice kicks, and we'll see a good stern battle between him and Madigan.
Good strike by the former Blackrock College outside half. Ian Madigan won the Ireland A cap against the England Saxons. He's done a pretty good job at fullback for quite a bit of the season. Here's Sean Cronin, who seems to have just been slipping down the pecking order with the arrival of Richard Strauss, who's now Irish qualified, who's now played for Ireland. They're taken by Leinster. Kevin McLaughlin with the distinctive blue headgear. Big Devin Toner in the middle of all of that. That's good defence by Ulster. Away comes O'Brien. Redden into his skipper, Leo Cullen. Does the right thing every time, Cullen. Healy, good strong burst, got through Jackson. Gives it to Luke Marshall. And Ulster fortunate to get away with that one. Cian Healy threw a rather wayward pass after he did all the hard work, and Ulster's line under threat for the first time.
Well, it's the first signs of danger from this Leinster pack, from their one-off runners. Guys like Cian Healy, very powerful, very dynamic ball carriers. Probably up there as the best ball carrier in world rugby in terms of props. And Ulster will have to be very wary of that. They were slightly dog-legged in defence there. They'll have to make sure that they come up together and shut the man down and do two-man tackles.
Well taken at the front by Hazelip. Redden gets it away. Gordon Darcy. 71 international caps now. Redden has a bit of a check, and Madigan back inside. Somebody missed him. Well stolen by Ulster. Away to Trimble. Could do with giving this. Bit wayward. Dear oh dear. All too frantic by Ulster, all too often.
Yeah, there's no doubt that there's just a little bit of nerves out there. You can see that in certainly the ruck area has been heatedly contested, and Ulster have managed to turn over a couple of Leinster balls already, which is very encouraging for them. But it's what they do with that ball that's very important. That's a time then just to be a little bit more patient. Look what's in front of them, maybe just get the ball downfield. They are in around their 22 at present, and territory is paramount at this stage of the game.
With a nudge forward there by Leinster as opposed to an Ulster steal. This is a time for cool heads. Andrew Trimble thought he would find a little bit of space wide, and to be fair, there were two men out there, but the pass wasn't great. Nearly 10 minutes gone, no score, first scrum of the evening. Collapse on the Leinster tight head side, where Michael Bent, the new kid in the block, is playing against Tom Court, who was not involved in the autumn internationals at all, much to his annoyance, I have a feeling.
Let's get your act together now, come on.
Leinster feeling an all-international pack, and interestingly, the back row that caused so much havoc in the Heineken Cup final last May. Ulster just marginally the heavier by about 4 pounds a man. Good squeeze by Ulster. George Clancy's given the penalty against them. I think as touch judge on the far side, Ollie Hodges was the man who intervened. Wonder what George Clancy is saying.
Binding number one.
Tom Court's binding number one, he was saying.
That's the decision. Okay.
Yeah, their tight head is like literally straight across the shoulder.
I'll keep an eye on that for you.
And Rory Best saying that the Leinster tight head is coming straight across.
Just a little bit out to this side.
Well, I think we knew early doors that there was going to be an issue here at scrum time. It's two front rows of significant experience, and obviously all individually looking to get one over each other, and no more so than probably the best Cronin tonight. And you know, with Cronin now getting his opportunity with Richard Strauss out, he'll be certainly looking to make a point moving forward. But Rory Best is obviously very, very solid in that scrum area, and he's obviously having a word with the referee. And
referee is having a word with Michael Bent, the New Zealander, who's now playing for Ireland, having got 2 Irish caps before he got his 2 Leinster caps to date. But this is Ian Madigan, having seen his opposite number miss about 8 minutes ago. That's not a bad strike, and that's exactly what you have to do at this level. You've got to take your chances, and you've got to take your points. Ulster didn't take theirs, and Leinster have. And Leinster now lead by 3 points to nil with just about 12 minutes played.
yeah, a wonderful kick by Ian Madigan. Very good strike on the wrong side of the pitch for him as well, as a right footer, and straight through the middle of the uprights. And Leinster will be very, very happy with this start.
Jackson. Oh, that's well taken in by Devin Toner, who was halfway there anyway. He's nearly 7 feet tall, the tallest Irish international of all time. Redden, clever kick down the tram lines. Gilroy tries to get away from Andrew Conway, who's equally quick, if not quicker in a straight line. Robbie Dyack thought about the pass. Quicker ball by Ulster, much better. Jackson.
Stay.
Scooted off the outside of the foot a little bit. Madigan wins it. Payne does the tackling. Leinster win it. Here's Toner. Tackle was by John Afoa. Back in the Leinster side. Gordon Darcy. Well, this could be interesting. Trimble and McComb with the tackle. Leinster there quickly. Lively stuff from the men in blue. Ulster trying to put in the first choke tackle of the evening. Might just be coming back on the Ulster side, and it is Pienaar. Good call by Jackson. Nicely positioned, but well covered by Andrew Conway. And that will give Ulster the advantage in terms of territory and the throw-in.
That was very good reading by Conway. He recognised that there was going to be a lot of space in behind after the turnover. He was up on the line for attack, and I'd say he got back very quickly. He's got a lot of pace, Conway. But going back a little bit earlier in the play there to Ulster and Paddy Jackson's up and under, I thought it was a very good up and under. But the chasing line from Ulster was slightly ponderous. They want to be a lot more alert than that and a lot more enthusiastic, trying to get up there and compete for the ball. If they're heading up and unders around the halfway line, they'll certainly be looking to retain that possession.
Well, a damp evening here at pre-Christmas Ravenhill. Willie O'Cullen getting that wise old head of his bandage up and around at international level for such a long time. Way back in 2000, if I recall, his very first cap when he was only a youngster. Some of those kids weren't even born when Leo Cullen started playing for Ireland.
Leo Cullen is a true professional. He was my captain back at the schoolboy level, and whenever I toured Australia, and he was fantastic. A fantastic player. It's not often given the credit that he deserves. He's one of those guys who just never ever makes the wrong decision.
Well, his record as a captain, of course, is second to none in terms of the European Cup, the Heineken Cup. Here's Rory Best, who's captained both Ulster and Ireland. That was good initially, and then it was a mess, and the wrecking ball that Sean O'Brien has made good ground for the men in blue, and they've got a chance of something here if they can shift this. Here's Mackin, who's very strong. Well tackled by Luke Marshall. Has to get himself out of it, and he does. Cian Healy into Jared Payne, who hangs on to him and gets the foot in touch. Peter Fitzgibbon on the near side. And that's good work by Jared Payne, who gets a pat, because stopping Cian Healy, even if he's not up to full speed, is no mean feat. Just a slight bit of an overthrow. Fingertips there from Neil McComb, and O'Brien does what he does best.
You can see Sean O'Brien again, very, very strong going forward, and that was a good bit of defensive work by Jared Payne to keep Cian Healy out the sideline.
Hold, 7, hold.
Good line-up by Rory Best. Andrew Trimble to chase Pienaar's Gary Owen. Wonderful take by McFadden. Gives the rest of the side so much encouragement. Madigan. Recovering by Ruan Pienaar. Oh, where's that going? It's going to Madigan. And he's called for the fair catch, or the mark in the old, as it used to be in the old days. I'll give him a free kick to touch, but it will be an Ulster line-out. And that's taking play, well, a fair old distance into Ulster territory. The crowd not happy with Peter Fitzgibbon's interpretation of the distance, but I think he's being fair enough. Good stuff by Madigan. 157 points he's got for Leinster in his 60-odd appearances.
Well, so far it's certainly a game of chess between these two sides, just feeling each other out. Nobody wanting to make mistakes early or take too many chances.
Ulster shortened the line out to 5 men, and that's why Neil McComb, one of them. Pienaar, same thing again. For Trimble to chase, wee bit too much distance on it perhaps. Chris Henry nearly obstructed. McFadden almost got away from him. Redden, O'Brien tries to bulldoze through Trimble, who takes him on. Redden having a glance to see if there's any kind of a gap on the old stand side here at Ravenhill. But as Healy takes it forward, Redden again. Sean Cronin. Now Redden with the kick. Great take by Payne. Good chasing by Conway. But Ulster won it. Darren Cave in the outside half position. Underneath it is Noel Reid, Leinster's new fullback. Well, here come Leinster. Jamie Hazer took the pass from O'Brien, who took it from Reid. Leinster looking for quick ball. Madigan. Mackin, who's big and strong. Redden again. Kevin McLaughlin playing his first game for quite some time. The enormous Devin Toner. Redden, patient stuff by Leinster. Madigan, Gordon Darcy, little show, swallowed up by Nick Williams. Now can Williams turn him? And the answer is Ulster giving away the penalty.
Yeah, well, you could see 2 or 3 Ulster men absolutely desperately trying to rip the ball, but going off their feet, and it always looked like a penalty was going to be given there. Noel Reid's an interesting prospect for Leinster at 15. I think he's probably in there due to injuries at present, with obviously Carney brothers out as well, but I think he's seen by the Leinster contingent maybe as a 12, plays a lot for a 10 as well in the Leinster A side, but he looks quite at home in the 15 channel at the moment, and as Madigan is showing as well, 10s can quite comfortably play in that 15 role because they have that skill set.
Well, Noel Reid, whom we look at in a moment, starting only his second game. Irish under-18s and under-20s.
It's your job.
As was this fellow, Ian Madigan's great uncle, who passed away not that long ago, was the great Paddy Madigan, who was an outstanding hooker for Leinster and very nearly played for Ireland, was chairman of the Irish selectors way back in the day. Bit of a scuff. But that's a terrific kick by Madigan. Well, Leinster have had 2 chances and they've taken both of them, and that's the difference between the sides. We're still in the first quarter of this game, but Leinster's remarkable record against Ulster at the moment looks like being pretty well preserved.
And neither of them easy chances at that as well, both on the wrong side for the right footer, and Madigan turned straight away. He knew that was going sailing through the post, and that'll give him and Leinster a huge amount of confidence and certainly silence this crowd nice and early.
Yeah, hold on a sec, we get it right, guys.
Well, they didn't have a great deal to cheer about last week against the Northampton Saints, and went away shaking their heads, but they've got to put that disappointment behind them, as indeed have the Ulster squad. Decision has gone to Leinster. Carrigan to touch by an Ulster hand, it seems. So line out to the men in blue. Sean Cronin, who played twice for Munster and then 65 times for Connacht. Born in Limerick. That didn't look desperately straight. Madigan. Sean O'Brien missed the November series because of injury, but my word, he's bounced back with a vengeance. Good steal by Ulster. Rory Best, poor pass. I think Ulster might just have snaffled that. No, they've lost it. Healy, good pass. Good transfer. Gordon Darcy. Gilroy on the fly.
Number 1 in front of the kicker, I tried to tell him. Number 1 is in front of you.
Penalty against Leinster.
Number 1 in front of the kicker.
Now, is this kickable, I wonder?
Well, I think here again we see Sean O'Brien going into contact, but it's great work by Henry and Williams to strip that ball. That's about the 3rd time that's happened, but yet again it's what Ulster do with the ball after that. That's the 3rd time in a row now they've stripped the ball and then they've lost possession almost immediately. They've got to be a little bit more patient with that ball whenever they win it back.
Well, Paddy Jackson has decided that the range was maybe a little bit too much for him, and he's put in a pretty exquisite kick into the Leinster 22 to give Ulster very good field position. Quarter of the game now gone. Leinster leading by 2 penalty goals to 0. Nick Williams right at the back of the Ulster line-out. Just about a no more. Well taken by Neil McComey. Really had to stretch across the Leinster line for that. Leinster getting the squeeze on, and Ulster have conceded about 5 metres. Now here they come again. This is better. Rory Best has the ball tucked in there. Pretty sure O'Brien's come in from the side. The referee's got the hand out for the penalty to Ulster. Referee playing advantage. Jackson had a little cut himself. Gets it to Luke Marshall. That was forward, but they'll go back for the penalty. Enterprise indeed. Nice gesture by Fergus McFadden lifting Luke Marshall off the ground. Ulster get the penalty.
Well, it's very good drive from the forwards. Rory Best just spinning off at the back, and he does very, very well. Pumps those legs and gets a couple of Ulster men behind him, pushing him forward, and you could see immediately Leinster had no option but to come in from the side illegally and take it down. And Ulster will be very, very happy with that. It's an area that they absolutely dominated Northampton over in Franklin's Gardens, and it's certainly an area where they'll look to try to exert some influence over Leinster, particularly from only 5 or 10 yards out. You can see the drive maul going particularly well there. Nick Williams is somebody as well from 5 to 10 yards out who's devastating, who will want to get that ball into his hands in those sorts of areas.
Penny Jackson calling the shots.
Changing lanes.
He has this chance to cut the lead back by 3 points. Missed with a not desperately difficult one. This one is closer to the post, but the angle is tighter, so it's not that much simpler. Well, he's made a mess of that one as well, and I'm wondering, has he got a problem with that kicking leg of his? The crowd, of course, a little bit shocked there. They would have liked to see that go over, so it could well have been 6-all. But at the moment, with nearly 23 minutes gone, it's 6-0 to the opposition.
Well, I've no doubt that Neil Doak will be speaking to him. He'll be telling him just a couple of things, maybe just to keep his head down and maybe just to slow the rhythm down slightly. He just looked like he snatched at that just a little bit.
Andrew Trimble from the restart into a bit of space. That's been dropped, knocked forward by Leinster. Scrum to Ulster. Noel Reid just couldn't quite control it. Got himself into the right position, but he could feel the hot breath of Jared Payne coming down on him, and he just squeezed it forward. There is a broth of a boy, as they say, Cian Healy. Having too many scrums in this game. Rivalry right in the middle of them, of course. Sean Cronin against Rory Best. Healy against a four, as was the case in the Heineken Cup final. That's a good Ulster squeeze. Referee gives the penalty against Bent straight away. Leo Cullen protesting. What a good Ulster scrum, Bryn.
Well, that was a very powerful scrum. You could see just as soon as that ball was delivered, he got the initial nudge on just there on the hit, and they just kept it going. And Leinster had no option but just to take that down. An easy decision for the referee, and now this kick is absolutely imperative for Paddy Jackson that he knocks this one over. Relatively in front of the post, if anything, just slightly to the left, which actually will benefit him as a right-footed kicker. It's not too far out either, and he just needs to calm himself down, get his nerves settled, and just go through his normal routine, and hopefully get 3 points on the board for Ulster.
Anxious Ulster faces. Sounded good. And that's better. Up go the flags, so Paddy Jackson makes it 1 from 3. But he'll be a lot happier, and that will do his confidence no harm whatsoever. 25 minutes gone, and only 3 points between them.
Well, again, you can see Neil Doak just having a few words with him as he ran back, just to give him that bit of confidence. So that was a better strike. You can see the flight of the ball was just perfect, end over end, and that will settle him down nicely now. It's important Ulster trying to attain some territory again and get straight back down.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, okay.
Madigan. Trimble. Pienaar under a wee bit of pressure, but that's a huge strike by Pienaar. Well taken by Madigan. Noel Reid. Andrew Conway out wide. Also, we don't want to give him any room at all because he's spectacularly quick across the ground. Rory Best has to get out of the way, and he does. Redden thought about a little break in his own. And it is Redden.
Okay, good.
A wee bit far, perhaps. Well taken by Payne. Outside his 22. Gets it to Gilroy. Spirals out of the first tackle. Now Pienaar. It's on the foe-up. Well, Ulster, no need to do that. There was a quick offload, and it was a little bit too quick, and Chris Henry couldn't just grab it. And Ulster have given possession back to Leinster, and they simply can't afford to do that.
No, and you can see what Ulster were trying to do there. It was John Afoa knew that it was potentially on for the outside run. You see the first runner often doing that, trying to isolate the first defender, but Devin Toner was up relatively quickly as well, and that's what put the pressure on the pass, and That's a mistake Ulster will not be happy with, just outside their 22, and that's where they've made a couple of basic errors now and handing Leinster the initiative now to put pressure on the Ulster defence.
Well, the kick by Pienaar was a pretty good one, but Leinster have managed to get a scrum, and they might be looking for a penalty or something from this scrum. Down they go, free kick against Leinster for early engagement. Ulster will be happier with that.
Your mark is here.
Pienaar had a little glance himself. Michael Bent puffing and blowing a little bit. And Pienaar puts in the old-fashioned Gary Owen. That is a cracker. Where's it going? It's going to ground. It's going to Leinster hands. Well set up by Devon Toner. But there was a nudge forward by Leinster, spotted by George Clancy. Not sure if Ollie Hodges on the far side intervened there, but it's going to be an Ulster scrum. Almost 28 minutes played, only 3 between them.
Okay. Guys, when I say crouch, I want you into the crouch position a little bit early. Small bit too far apart from me, but let's see if we can get just a small bit closer.
George Clancy coming to the Ulster tight head side to see what's going on between John Afoa and Cian Healy, leaving his touch judge to work out what was on the other side with the balls going in. Good squeeze by Ulster, waited, took the hit nicely. That's a great scrum by Ulster. And they've won the penalty. Well, what a dominant scrum that was by Ulster. Had to give second best in that department last week to the Northampton Saints, having roasted the Saints in Franklin's Gardens. But that's one of the best scrums I've seen Ulster put in against Leinster for a long time. And it's Ruan Pienaar from a fair old distance out now.
Well, I don't think it takes a scrum specialist to see who dominated that one, and John Afoa absolutely took Cian Healy to the cleaners there. Again, it's getting that initial hit on, and it just steamrolled straight through them.
Yes, as did Tom Court and Rory Best on their opposite numbers. Afoa kept it low and kept the back parallel to the ground, but there was the upward pressure from Best and Court that forced the scrum up, and Leinster conceded the penalty. Well, given that he's played very little rugby for Ulster this season, Paddy Jackson has been doing most of the kicking. This is Ulster's 14th game. It's only the 6th start for Ruan Pienaar, and Paddy Jackson's been doing all the kicking, apart from the end of the game against Northampton. This is a big kick for both Ulster and for Ruan Pienaar. Just clipped it nicely. It needs to come in. My word, that's a cracking kick by Ruan Pienaar, and Ulster back on level terms. They're looking a lot happier here at Ulster Rugby headquarters.
That's a wonderful kick, and how Ulster would have loved Pienaar to have done the same thing in the final kick last week, but it wasn't to be. But that's where Ruan Pienaar is so handy in this side from a longer kicking point of view. He's got a wonderful strike and can kick him from 50 plus metres without any difficulty.
And it all came from a very dominant scrum. Leinster no doubt will respond. Toner's going to chase this one, and he's enormous. Knocked back by Ulster, taken in by Neil McComb. Pienaar for Trimble to chase yet again. He's hoiked that infield a tad. Well taken by Madigan. He's well tackled by Luke Marshall. Redden switches, cleverly done. Darcy, this could be interesting. Fergus McFadden, so versatile. Made good ground. Redden again. Sean O'Brien down and up again in one movement. Madigan thought about the inside pass to Cronin. Well, that could be interesting because it wasn't meant to go there. Here comes Mackin, got inside Gilroy, who managed to slow him down. Leinster bouncing straight back as you'd expect them to do. Cronin at lines the Ulster 22. Redden, Madigan, Cian Healy. Nabbed by Best and by Court. Now Madigan. Clever little dummy. Redden. Darcy. Taken by Ian Henderson. Bit of fancy footwork there. Referee's happy enough about that. Kevin McLaughlin. Ulster through the middle, nothing wrong with that. Have they won the ball on the ground? I think they have, you know. And the referee has given the penalty in a very, very kickable place. I thought Ulster got away with that.
There's two of them. There's two in front of us. Second one's in the side.
Well, he said there were 2 infringers. The second one was in the side.
Shot a goal, yeah?
Well,
no, I don't think so.
Not 100% sure whether that was definitely the right call. It looked like McLaughlin maybe got a little bit isolated there, and Henderson had come through the gate and had kicked it forward. You can see here that Henderson's trying to get Rory Best out first. McLaughlin takes it in, a forwards over the ball. Cullen's on his own there. Now, if you look at Henderson, I don't see a lot wrong with that. He's come through the gate in my book. He's kicked it on and then he's dived on the ball.
Be careful where you're putting your feet. I'll deal with the tackler all the way. I think you can see that.
Well, it's a straightforward penalty, and the strong Leinster contingent, and how great it is to see them at Ravenhill. All the way through difficult times in this part of the world. Teams from Leinster and Leinster clubs, and Munster clubs, and Connacht clubs came to this part of the world to play rugby. Madigan. Yeah, that's a good strike by Madigan, the easiest of the evening for him so far. So it's been all kicks. Leinster have won the kicking battle. One from Paddy Jackson, one from Ruan Pienaar, but 3 from Ian Madigan. 3 points between them.
Leinster are starting to mix their play up very well. They're using one-off runners, but they're also looking to attack the short side. Guys like Darcy with a lot of experience are attacking there, and boys like McFadden coming off at pace and trying to cause a few holes in the defence.
Knocked back by Leinster, said George Clancy. Leo Cullen manages to pull it in with those big paws of his. Redden down the lines. Oh, there's a lovely weight in that. Who's underneath it? The answer is Williams. Good release. Now Jackson. Jared Kane inside centre. Darren Cave. Back to Trimble. Good run by Trimble. Luke Marshall. Better stuff by Ulster's pacey three-quarters. Kane at scrum half. Jackson. John Afoa. Good pass by the All Black. Cave. Just delayed it a little bit. Still there for Ulster though in terms of possession. Well set up by Robbie Dyack. Chris Henry takes it on himself. Here's Trimble. Payne out the check yet again. Up on a skip from Payne. Jamie Heaslip covers back. In fact, it might have been McLaughlin. It wasn't McLaughlin. Paddy Jackson, but congested. Neil McComb. Pienaar. Good pressure from Ulster. Jackson. Cave. Well, he tried to float the pass and it didn't quite work. It was either give it quickly or go yourself. And Leinster have got the ball from the Ulster knock forward. The referee's playing advantage. Owen Redden.
Advantage over.
That's advantage over. Paddy Jackson absolutely clattered. There goes Williams. Well, that's what they like to see from the enormous New Zealander. Pienaar. Not much room out wide. Nicely done by Jared Payne. Rory Best. Jackson. Nobody to chase it except himself. Now that was taken over the line, I think, by Noel Reid. If he'd just let it go, it would have been a 22. And cleverly kicked by Paddy Jackson.
Yeah, well, that's a good attacking position now for Ulster. 5 yards out, and yeah, Noel Reid definitely went onto that ball a little bit too quickly. He probably didn't realise that he actually had a little bit more time in that. But Nick Williams, that's what we've come to expect from him since he arrived here at Ulster. These bullocking runs where he just paws people off. You don't often see Leo Cullen cast aside that easily, and now the play comes up to the back line. A good play by Rory Best just to straighten it up a little bit, and probably the right option with John Afoe outside. They were never going to get in at the outside, so the right option and now a good attacking position.
Then go to work afterwards.
Well, big scrum this one. 4 minutes remaining, 3 points between them. Ulster have been, well, the closer of the two sides to scoring a try. They need another huge scrum here. Referee's asking him to reset. Peter Fitzgibbon on the near side just keeping George Clancy right as to what's going on the Ulster tight head side.
I need a better mind from the two of you. Let's get it up, okay? Get that shoulder up. Let's go again, here's your man.
Trying to go Tom Court and Michael Bent to get the outside shoulders up. Clock starts again. Good squeeze by Ulster. Williams controls. Referee's given a penalty try. Well, you don't see that too often against a side like Leinster. George Clancy did warn them. He might have given them another warning, but he decided that was enough. And the Ulster fans will be more than happy with that. And that is another very, very good scrum. And Rory Best will give the man on either side of him. Tom Court and John Afoa, 10 out of 10 for that one.
Well, again, it's the early shove, you know. John Afoa getting right in and key and heated there. He can't do anything about it. Again, they take it down. The referees decided it's a penalty try. And in terms of a psychological advantage, you just can't buy that. Ulster will be going back now with chests out, heads held high. Just looking forward to the next scrum, just looking forward to the next opportunity to get at them again. And whereas Leinster will be going under the post now, dejected. You can see the faces and the heads down there, and they'll be looking to come together now and try to work out what's going wrong.
Rowan Pienaar, who seems to have taken over the short range or long range kicking duties from Paddy Jackson, makes good the conversion. And Ulster, having trailed all the way through, now lead with 2 minutes to go by 13 points to 9.
Well, it's a good omen for Ulster. We know in the back-to-back fixtures with Northampton, on the one in Franklin's Gardens, Ulster dominated them in the scrum, and that led to the victory. That set the platform. On the return fixture, Ravenhill, they didn't quite manage that, and it led to a loss. So Ulster will be very happy where they are at present.
Well, an athletic take by Nick Williams.
Step back.
Pienaar. Trimble legging it up. Well taken by Noel Reid. It was well taken by Chris Henry. Nicely presented by Leinster's fullback. Here's Leo Cullen. Robbie Diak just chopped him off at the ankles. Just over a minute remaining. Half a charge down. Knocked forward. Be an Ulster scrum. Leinster on nerve maybe.
They definitely look a little bit dejected after that try, and Rowan Pienaar yet again. I mean, he really is the charge down king, and obviously they were looking to gain a bit of territory there, couldn't quite manage it, and now Ulster have a good attacking position again to try and get something moving in the back line.
Well, having been really disregarded by Declan Kidney for the autumn series, Tom Court has a point to prove, and I think he may just have laid down a wee bit of a marker there that there's plenty left in the big fella. Good squeeze this time on their own, put in by Ulster. Pienaar, Paddy Jackson. Just couldn't quite make up his mind there. Pienaar, nobody much out wide, so they're going to rely on Nick Williams to make some ground. Now Pienaar is a bit better. Chris Henry. Nice dummy by Ulster's skipper up to the 10-metre line.
Thank you.
40 minutes have now been played. Craig Gilroy's had a quiet day. Not his greatest pass in the world. Luke Marshall, that might just be let go for half-time whistle. Noel Reid didn't really want to know about it, but he sensibly let it be. And it wasn't great until the very end. But that dominant scrum which produced the penalty try, I think will put a few smiles on the Ulster faces. But there'll be a lot of hard talking in both dressing rooms.
Yeah, Ulster will be very, very happy going in with the lead. I think one of the things they'll probably talk about is playing a little bit too much rugby between the two tens. Opportunity on a couple of occasions just to get that ball into the corners, just get the territory, keep putting pressure on Leinster. If they continue to do that, then they're in a good place to win this game.
Well, one try in it and a penalty try. Ulster at half-time leading Leinster by 13 points to 9.
Well, when these two Irish heavyweights go head-to-head, it was always going to be tight and a night to make the most of your opportunities. Ian Madigan has had a very composed performance with the boot so far. It took Ulster's Paddy Jackson a while to find his kicking boots, his range and his nerve, but eventually he did to pull Ulster level. And it's the home side which goes in at half-time, thanks to that up-front dominance and the penalty try. It's 13 points to 9 to Ulster at half-time. Well, Morrisfield and Tony McWhirter have certainly enjoyed what has been a captivating first half at times, Morris.
Yeah, it's been a very intriguing game. First 20-25 minutes, bit of cat and mouse, as you'd expect from the Champions Europe against the potential heir apparents. Again, we were questioning some of the decisions about the way that Ulster were playing, and we were kicking away possession we thought they should have run. But I think the game needs a game-changing point, and I think that what happened there when Paddy Jackson was taken out in the air and the referee didn't give the penalty, that just upped the ante for the Ulster players, and the intensity just increased tenfold.
Deserved lead for Ulster at half-time?
I think so, Stephen. Certainly, if you look at the forward confrontations, I think Ulster have grown into the game. The scrum has become very, very dominant, with the penalty try coming at the end.
Now, turnovers for Ulster at the breakdown, certainly it's somewhere where they've been very effective tonight so far.
Well, last week we didn't have the right balance. I did believe we didn't have the right balance. We see here Jared Payne going in. What's actually happened is we're actually targeting the ruck a lot quicker, and we're actually recycling the ball. Unfortunately, they're a wee bit scrappy at the time. But again, it's an area that we've had to target, and they've been a lot more accurate than they were last week against Northampton.
The tackling's been a big key in terms of slowing the ball down, Stephen, for both sides. The men making the tackle, targeting the ball, and that's enough to slow it down, which means then that you don't have to overcommit more players to the ruck time. Subsequently then the defences are able to spread, and it's been a bit staccato attack wise.
Yeah, and we'll see that there's the benefit of that double teaming that Chris Henry and Rory Best done, both keeping the man up on the ball, one hitting high, the other one hitting on the ball, creates the turnover, because what Leinster are not doing is they're not putting too many men into the breakdown contact situation.
But did Ulster make enough of their turnovers, or did they kick too much of that possession away at times?
I think possibly kicking has been inaccurate, Stephen. We've kicked away ball inaccurately without really a good kick chase, which is something that we've been very good at this year. But I think Ulster have set their soul out to try and play the game in the Leinster half, to give Leinster as few opportunities as possible to try and accrue some points. Set
piece at the line out tonight hasn't functioned brilliantly, but at times it's gone pretty well.
It has. I mean, we had an opportunity here on our own ball, a beautiful ball down. Now, why Ruan kicked away there, I'm not too sure. That would have been a perfect target for Luke Marshall to come up and take in Ian Madigan. And what we're doing is we're kicking away to the best counter-attacking team in Europe, and we're giving away possession. They're come back again. We see here the line out, good catch and drive. Ruan Pienaar putting the ball up. I can understand the reasoning, try and get the ball into their half, but these are probably the best counter-attacking team in Europe.
In terms of even the way that we've tried to kick, Stephen, traditional box kick would maybe go parallel down the sideline, and what Pienaar's concentrated on tonight is very much kicking the ball in field to try and get at this Leinster back three, which is quite young and inexperienced, but the chase hasn't quite been there, and we haven't been able to put any heat on the guy catching the ball, challenging in the air, so subsequently the ball for Leinster has been quite easily won.
And perhaps the kicking as well, too much in the centre of the field and not down the tram lines.
Yeah, I mean, you want to use the tram line as an extra defender, so by putting the ball down the centre of the park, you're actually opening the game up. Again, it's just Leinster have taken their opportunities. They've been given 2 penalties. 2 out of 3 penalties may have been wrong refereeing decisions. Mr. Bent there was guilty of dropping it behind the Tom Court and coming in across, and unfortunately they were lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, let's take another look at that and try and examine the scrums a little bit more closely tonight, because at the start of the match Ulster seemed to be in trouble again, as they were last week against Northampton, penalty against them, but as the game progressed it all seemed to click for them.
Yeah, it has. I think in fairness to Ulster, in the first half against Northampton last week, they scrummed particularly well. It was only whenever the changes were made, and especially Tom Court being taken off, and Tom's been very, very good tonight. This decision, Stephen, comes from the touch judge on the far side, and hopefully if we get a chance to see it from the reverse angle, you'll see it's Bent actually drops his bind and takes it in. As the half has gone on though, Ulster have gone on top, and they're starting to make that count.
Yeah, that is the benefit of having an all-international front row that have played with each other. Leinster, I mean, it's a newly brought together team. You can see the dominance there that's coming through, just sheer power, and obviously Tom Court is really up for this game.
I mean, that's more like the performance we saw in the first match against Northampton. Great performance up front.
But there's also a nice story to this as well. Tom Court has lost his place in the Irish squad to Michael Bent, who basically has been parachuted in from playing in New Zealand rugby. this is his first taste of Irish interprovincial rugby tonight, and he's finding out all about it.
I mean, eventually that dominance paid off just before half-time with that penalty try.
Yeah, and deservedly so. Have you seen just the pure power that's going through it? I think that what the TV didn't show, that we were able to see, was when the penalty try was given, Tom Court stood up, just looked Michael Bent in the eye, walked backwards, didn't have to say anything. The psychological war is already over with him.
With the scrum as well, Stephen, special mention I think to Neil McComb and young Ian Henderson, two guys who are relatively inexperienced, not the biggest guys in the world, certainly they have the height, but maybe not carrying the same poundage as a Johan Muller and a Dan Toohey, but they're making their presence felt.
This is the build-up to the try opportunity, Morris.
Yeah, it was just before that Paddy Jackson's come around there. Paddy Jackson was taken out in the air from a high kick, and again, this we can see where the dominance comes from. The body position there of John O'Foy is exceptional. Cian Healy's automatically going backwards, and that is an exceptional scrummage from the personnel.
No, it's been top drawer. Great reaction from Tom Court after that try was scored. Stephen got up, shouting straight in Michael Bent's face, and rather than turning and walking away, walked backwards, made sure he didn't take his eyes off him.
Yeah, that's how much it meant. And obviously we said this game was going to be one of of close margins. And Leinster kicked their points. May Ulster rue those missed opportunities come second half.
You always have to take your opportunities. They're key. Ulster have been possibly slightly fortuitous in terms of the way with the penalty try, but it's nothing less than they deserved. Fair play to Madigan. He's had 3 chances, and he's put them all over. You can't ask any more than that.
I mean, that's what kickers do. Paddy Jackson will not be happy with himself pulling those 2 left. Again, maybe it was just his stance. It has been greasy. The rain yesterday may have softened the ground up for his planting foot. It may have just slid slightly. And again, it's the small errors, the small margins that make the difference.
Well, with no Boxing Day derbies this year, the next game for Ulster is against Munster on the 29th of December. It means that the Ulster players this year have a bit more time to help out with the Christmas cooking. At least that's what we thought. So we put 3 of them to the mince pie challenge. Here's Gavin Andrews.
Hello and welcome to the great Ulster Rugby Festive Bake Off. Our 3 contenders today: an athletic Australian, Adam Darcy, festive. A big Springbok, shining and glistening in his Christmas jumper, Robbie Dyack. And a Ballymena man who's no stranger to seconds at this time of year, Luke Marshall. And our referee for today is our resident chef, Paula McIntyre. Paula, take it away.
Okay, right guys, you all ready? Okay. Yeah. Cut, fill, decorate.
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and
I think we should maybe get them in the oven and then see how they look in about 15 minutes time. Right. The minstrosity.
Yeah. Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane.
Okay, while those beauties are toasting in the oven, Robbie, what's Christmas like for you in South Africa? It's obviously very different.
Yeah, obviously it's very different. I think the main difference is the weather. It's a bit of an outdoor Christmas back home, and over here we pretty much wrapped up in indoors with a fire going and maybe a bit of a mulled wine and all that kind of stuff. We've got some friends over from back home now as well, so hopefully we can get a white Christmas for them.
And a bit different this year. There's normally a game on Boxing Day, and now there's a bit of a break. That should make it a little nicer. You'll be able to relax a bit more, maybe.
Yeah, it's worked out quite well. The past couple of years we have been playing on Boxing Day and on New Year's Day, so hopefully we'll get to enjoy it for a couple more days anyway. But you still got to watch yourself, like Luke will.
It's all about the food, so it is in our household. Mum just puts on as much as she can. We take it from there.
Now, what about the calorie count at Christmas? You've bulked up this year, but are you allowed to go for it on Christmas Day?
I'm very strict with meeting, so I try to limit my calories, as you can tell.
What a beautiful sight. So jump in.
Fan assisted. Look at that, bubbling out over the edges. Magnificent. Okay, Paula, what's the verdict then?
Well, for a first-time effort, it's not pretty good, guys. It's not. I've seen an awful lot worse in my time, honestly.
This is my personal favourite.
I like that one. There's no, that's just raw pastry in the middle, Gavin. So, but that's your thing. That's your thing. This one here, like what you've done there, Adam. It's got like a festive sort of crown, doesn't it? A samosa. Samosa.
Okay, let's make this competitive. We need a winner.
I'd have to go just for technique, really, and the actual work. I would have to go with Luke, to be honest with you.
That may be the highlight of his year.
Effort, yeah.
Apart from the Fiji game.
You just look sort of like you've done it with a good technique. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Good soft
I like
hands.
the way you rolled it. Yeah, nice. And and he's got a cute wee face too. Sure.
He's lovely. He's lovely. He's like a wee elf. We'll not argue with him now.
See if everything goes a bit astray with your, with your rugby career. Think about this for the future.
Does anyone want to try them, lads?
Not really.
Right, well, I'm not going to eat it. We could try one of these. Or we could deliver these. The two men, Morris and Tony. Yum, yum. Eat up.
Here they are. They look absolutely revolting. Morris is going to try one. What do you think, Morris?
Definitely not going to MasterChef those boys.
No, I don't. I don't think so. Okay, to more important matters. Can I get rid of those? Thank you very much. And yeah, just turf it onto the terrace down there behind you, Morris. To more important matters. What do Ulster need to do, Tony, to close this game out second half?
I think just more of the same in terms of what we've seen in the last 10 minutes, Stephen. We want to play the game in the Leinster half. We want to try and turn the screw in the scrum even more and just tighten up in the basic errors that have let us down slightly in the first half. But also very much in the front foot, and hopefully we can see them take it forward.
Possession, obviously the key, which they kicked a lot of away first half.
Yeah, we've got to keep the ball in hand. We've got to actually challenge Leinster. We've got to actually challenge their defence.
Did you take that hat?
Yes, nice hat. Sadness that will help her. No, that's what we have to do. We've got to keep possession of the ball and just be as accurate as we can, and just keep playing the same way as we did for the last 20-25 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Thankfully the teams are on their way. Yeah. Morris, that hat really suits you. As you see, we're all getting into the Christmas swing of things here at Ravenhill tonight. Ulster leading at half-time. Let's see if they can get the win in the second half and go back to Bryn and Jim.
Well, the temperature certainly hasn't increased, but the atmosphere really, Bryn, is terrific, and I guess that last scrum, which produced a penalty try, has really given the Ulster fans, who were very disappointed a week ago after the Saints game, it's given the Ulster fans loads and loads to cheer about, hasn't it?
No, it's given them a massive lift, Jim, there's no doubt, and it's an area, as you rightly say, that Ulster were very, very dominant a couple of weeks ago. They'll want to put last week behind them, and they've certainly set their stall out in that area. And as the guys rightly said in studio there, all they've really got to do is just cut down on one or two of those basic mistakes, particularly from turnover ball. If they can do that and continue in the same vein and the same intensity, then I have no doubt that they can come away with this as victors.
Little glimpse there of the Leinster replacement. Rhys Ruddock has come on instead of Kevin McLaughlin to play blindside flanker. And as Ulster run out, it doesn't look at this stage as if there are any changes in the Ulster side that began this game and indeed finished the second half in a lead, albeit not by a huge lead. But Chris Henry will be an awful lot happier at this stage than he was a week ago. Remember, Leinster's record against the Northern Province has been outstanding. They've only lost once in the last 18 games. A lot of festive cheer dispensed tonight in the taverns in and around this old ground here at Ravenhill. Already undergoing a lot of reconstruction, both ends. Huge holes being dug, and one hopes that come the Heineken Cup quarter-final, should Ulster manage to get there, that they will be finished. Anyway, second half underway. Ulster leading by 13 points to 9. Ian Madigan, who is all of Leinster's points, starts it off, and that's not a great start for Ulster. And there's Kevin O'Brien, and yet again Ulster's failings at the restart kick could cost them. Here comes Rhys Ruddock. Capped just once for Ireland, same time as Chris Henry's first cap against Australia in 2010. Cian Healy sets it up. Jamie Heaslip. Well, all this has come from that Ulster inability to collect the restart kick. John Afoa takes off Darren Toner. Redden, Madigan, Gordon Darcy, no way through Darren Cave, who's hanging on to him.
Away tackler's release!
Referee saying the tackler has to release it, and he's going to give the penalty, and this is really all Ulster's fault. They could well concede a try though. Sean Cronin really bludgeoning his way forward. Redden again, referee still playing advantage. Leinster pressing hard. There's Ruddock in things again. Redden. Ball has gone loose, and George Clancy will bring them back for the simplest and silliest of penalties. And it all came, Bryn, from Ulster not able to catch the ball.
Well, I don't know how often we say that couple of minutes just before and just after half-time, just how important those are. And Ulster certainly would have been the more upbeat side going into the half-time and coming out of the dressing room. And the last thing they would have wanted to do was allow Leinster to get easy ball from the kick-off and put pressure on straight away. You'd have to give Madigan credit. It's a very, very good restart, good hanging start, allows Toner to get up there and put pressure on Williams, and the bounce of the ball just happens to go straight into Heaslip's hands. Not a person you want running loose. And Cave will be a little bit upset about this. You could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to hold Darcy up in a tackle, in a choke tackle. He's trying desperately. His arms are out. He's trying to get out of there. Healy and Ruddock are trying to make a mess of it to try and probably help the referee's decision on a little bit.
Well, 3 out of 3 for this fellow Ian Madigan in the first half, hoping to make it 4 from 4, the easiest kick he's had of the evening so far. And the blue and white flags are poised to be raised. Yeah, pretty straightforward 3 points, so the gap is closed to 1 single point. 4 out of 4 for the Leinster outside half, to the delight of the Leinster supporters. And we have played not even 3 minutes in the second half, and Ulster leading by a single point just.
Well, it's important now, Ulster try and get some territory, get down here, put some pressure on Leinster. Don't allow Leinster to settle into this. Leinster will be looking to get straight back down and get another few points on the board.
Long kick by Paddy Jackson, taken by Jamie Heaslip. Became the 101st person to captain Ireland when he led them in the autumn series, or the November series. Cian Healy with the pick up and drive. Ruddock. Madigan. Interception by Trimble. He managed to get it. He's got a bit of support from Cave. Cave and support outside. He's still there. Pienaar. Tom Court. Ulster fans willing on the men in white. Pienaar digs it out. Changes direction. Sells a dummy. Has another go himself. Court picks it up again. Trying to cap off his evening with a try. Ulster just half a metre out. Ian Henderson has a go himself. Presents it beautifully. Here goes Williams. He's best in support. Williams. That looks like a try. He's got it down. George Clancy's having a good look. Now he'll go upstairs to Dermot Maloney.
Dermot, can you hear me?
If it touched the line at all,
is this a try?
It's going to be a try.
No, please step away.
Okay, George, is it a try, yes or no?
Well, you can certainly see the crowd just lifted there as Williams got the ball, because we've seen him score from 5 yards out so many times already this season. I think by the look on his face, he thinks he's definitely got it, and it was great strength from him. He picks it. Great work by Henderson initially there. Does very, very well to get that ball back. And then it's a power of Williams and Best into support as well. And it certainly looks like he's just got it on the line.
Well, the decision's going to be made by the TMO. Great work there by Ian Henderson. And here's Williams. Now, the initial thrust was well held up by Leinster, but he spiralled out of that first tackle. And despite Sean O'Brien, now did O'Brien get a hand in there? I have a feeling Williams might just have got the touchdown.
Well, I think one thing's for sure, Jim. I don't think he's been held up. It's just whether he's got it on the line or not.
I think this looks the most obvious now. His elbow and forearm are in the field of play, but I think the ball in that massive paw of his has just got over the line. This is going to be a very interesting and a very significant call. If Ulster can manage to get a try here, having conceded an early penalty. Well, it was the spiral movement that got him across the line. We think this is. Oh, I think that's a try. I think he's got that done. That's the first time we've seen that particular angle. And you can see just between a couple of Leinster legs from behind the line. This is one of those inconclusive ones. That doesn't look as if it's a million miles away.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jim. I think the angle from behind was the best one. It looked, here we go again, and it looks like he just gets to line, and then it gets pushed back just slightly after he gets the initial touchdown. There it is, touched, and it gets pushed back slightly. I think that's a try.
Well, all of Ulster, apart from Ruan Pienaar and Tom Court, who's got himself injured.
Yes, George, just looking here.
But Dermot Maloney's having another look. He's saying to George Clancy, yes, George, I'm just looking. Well, Tom Court seems to be fine out of shot, and Ruan Pienaar's lining up for the conversion, and all the Ulster players are back inside their own half of the field, but that's not going to have any influence, I'm sure, on the TMO, Dermot Maloney, who has to make a call pretty soon. This, I think, is the most conclusive of the angles from the camera behind the post. There's that spiral movement, there's the efforts of Sean O'Brien, and there's the downward movement, and that's, to me, a try.
George, I have a decision.
Okay.
You may award a try.
Thank you.
Try's been given. Ulster fans kept no longer in suspense. Ulster get the second try and move 6 points ahead with the conversion to come.
Well, wonderful bit of play from Ulster and great strength of Nick Williams, but that all started by Andy Trimble. Andy Trimble is one of the best players in European rugby at pouncing on wide passes and interceptions, and he did that particularly well. It bobbled a little bit, he did very, very well, not just to hold on to the ball, but in the middle of a tackle, get the ball out of the tackle as well to keep the movement going. Great play by Trimble.
Ruan Pienaar with over 100 league points in his 30 league appearances. This is 31st for Ulster, this multi-talented Springbok, 63 times capped for his country. Go on, says an Ulster fan, and it did go on, and it went right between the Leinster posts, and Ulster now 8 points up, but still 35 minutes of this second half to go.
Well, that's just the reaction they needed. You can see Trimble, how well he does there to get the ball, and then to get that pass away as well. Excellent play. I was just about to sing Leinster's praises. They've gone through a number of phases and they were looking very inventive, but it was a speculative pass. Trimble's onto it, leads to Nick Williams barging over from close range, as we know he does so well.
Madigan, can he get this accurate? Oh, that's a very good restart kick. Now can Ulster deal with it? That's an awful lot better. That was big Neil McComb, biggest man on the Ulster side, but still about 4 inches shorter than Devin Toner. That's good driving by Ulster, who were complaining that Toner's got himself offside. Robbie Dyack set the ball up nicely. Pienaar. Pretty good kick down the tram lines, and very cleverly done by Madigan. Put his foot in touch, which means that the ball has gone directly into touch, even though physically it didn't. So it's going to come back for a Leinster line out. And what is the referee giving? Is he giving a free kick? No, he's just waiting for Leinster to come up the line. This is Pienaar's kick. It wasn't too far away, was it, Bryn?
Well, it's almost absolutely perfect, but Madigan does very, very well just to get his foot out into touch there and bring the play back down from where Ruan kicked it from.
Quicker ball by Leinster. Madigan. Mackin. That's across the 10-metre line. Wonderfully presented by Leinster yet again. Michael Bent. Redden again. Madigan. That's overcooked a wee bit, maybe. Oh, yes it is. That's going to come back for a scrummage. Well, that was one of those things. Had it just kicked in play and stayed in field, it would have been a fabulous effort. And the fact that it didn't, well, the Leinster fans won't be all that terribly happy. But it was, such are the margins at this level.
Yeah, it looked like he just tried to take off a little bit too much. Maybe should have just gone for 5 or 6 yards shorter, but I think Bent's starting to feel it in this game. He's having it tough at the scrum, and you can see there's a runner. He went with some conviction there, but he got absolutely hit hard by 2 big Ulster burly forwards and hit straight to deck.
Bent is the man nearest to us in the front row of the Leinster scrum, and came from Taranaki, played also for the Hurricanes. This is only his 3rd Leinster game. That's a good Ulster scrum yet again. The referee wants it done again. Tom Court working his man hard.
Let's move it out here. Move it out here.
Going up to 8 minutes played in the second half. Ulster enjoying an 8-point lead. At half-time, it was 13 points to 9 to Ulster. The penalty try right at the end, converted by Ruan Pienaar, who kicked the penalty, as did Paddy Jackson, to 3 by Paddy Madigan. Or Ian Madigan, I should say. Paddy was a great friend of mine for many years, his great uncle.
Touch! Set!
Good strong scrum on the Ulster put in. Jackson just had to check. Jared Payne, gathered in by Noel Reid.
Stop now, Blue!
Knocked back on the Ulster side, taken in by Pienaar. Madigan covers well, and he's on his own.
Let him go.
Doesn't stop him kicking.
Yeah, you're good.
Gathered in by Marshall. Payne, who's got back very quickly. Changes direction, goes for position.
Hold your
All the way
14.
back goes Fergus McFadden.
Just no, back another step.
It's not a bad strike by McFadden. It's going to be an Ulster line-out, but he's made the best part of 50 metres.
Well, it was a very good kick by McFadden. He wouldn't be known for his kicking. He's certainly more of a runner and, you know, put the head down and break a few tackles. But if Ulster are looking to try and break down this Leinster defence around the halfway line, they're going to have to be a lot more clinical with their passing. I think we saw 2 or 3 passes there just go behind the bodies. Guys had to check on it, and that just kills the movement straight away. And against a good Leinster defence, you certainly are going to break them down, and you're going to have to resort to the kick.
Well taken by Ulster at the line-out. Rory Best. To the help now from Tom Court. He really just drifted in front of him. Now, was that legal or illegal? The referee seems to be happy with it. And here go Ulster again as Rory Best doing the driving. Good work by the man who's skippered Ireland twice, as did older brother Simon before him. Bent strays. Well, George Clancy let him away with that. I'm amazed. And he's given the penalty against Ulster. Well, why Bent wasn't penalised, I have no idea. He stepped and then he stepped back. Maybe George Clancy thought that was enough. But the ball was out. Maybe he felt the ball was out. And, well, to be fair, George Clancy might have got that one right.
Well, possibly. You can see John O'Full wasn't happy with it. He was gesticulating with the referee there, saying, well, why didn't we get the penalty initially? And just little mistakes that Ulster just will have to iron out to not want to allow Leinster to get back into this game. It's important, having scored that try, to try and keep that pressure on and try and keep down in the Leinster half.
Well, Leinster have progressed up to the Ulster 22. 10 minutes, almost 11 gone in the second half. Ulster enjoying an 8-point lead at the moment, but for how much longer? Sean Cronin is going to throw into a full 7-man Leinster line-out. The referee is asking the space to be observed and Ulster to come up to the mark. This is Cronin. Well taken by Rhys Ruddock, the Leinster replacement. Oh, this is good work by Leinster. Ulster got the initial surge on, but Leinster found a gap. Darcy gets across the 22. Still there for Leinster if they can get it away quickly. Here's Healy at pace.
Advantage 7. Advantage.
Good tackling by Ulster and by Tom Court. Referee has given a penalty against the home side. Here's Redden. Ofoa with the tackle. Leinster looking for more. Madigan, as you'd expect. Noel Reid, good step by the young man.
Still playing the advantage here.
Great Leinster pressure. Redden. Good work by Chris Henry underneath his own post. Here's Redden again. That went backward. Ruan Pienaar has to make the tackle. Still it's Leinster, still it's Redden. Here's O'Brien into Luke Marshall, who holds up the flanker. Redden, Hazlett. Leinster battering away as George Clancy going to go all the way back for the penalty. Here come Leinster again. Cullen. Ulster really being tested in terms of defence. There's a Leinster player down injured. Redden, Brendan Macken. Thumping tackle went in by Ulster, and the referee had played advantage, or said it was over, and Ulster's defence has earned them the scrummage. Great work on the retreat by Ulster.
Well, a crucial time for Leinster to knock on there. I thought it was quite a long advantage that Clancy was playing, but a very, very good tackle at the end there to dislodge the ball and obviously give Ulster possession now. But you'd have to say Leinster were building the phases very, very well there, and Ulster don't have to give away those penalties. As we just saw there for a period of a couple of minutes, their defence is very, very solid. If they have faith in their defence, get their line integrity right and come up hard, then they've no difficulty. Again, very, very good by Nick Williams.
Well, that's what he's on for. He's a pretty effective at close range. Might well have been John O'Full actually did that tackle, but we'll see. There's a Leinster player down injured. I can't see at this stage who it is, but it doesn't look wonderful.
6 wide.
Leinster are going to make a replacement. It might be Devon Toner who's down injured. You would know it was Devon Toner because he's taken up half it. No, Devon Toner seems to be fine. I can't quite see who that is. One is that Sean O'Brien.
Number 6. Number 6.
Bit of cramp there on an Ulster player.
Just make sure you keep it.
It's Tom Denton is coming on, born in York, formerly of Leeds. And another few replacements coming on as well. Number 17 is Heinke van der Merwe is going to be coming on. And number 22 is the New Zealander Andrew Goodman. But we're just waiting to see about this Leinster injury. Cian Healy's going to be going off. There's Andrew Goodwin, who's played up until this game five games in a row for Leinster, the 30-year-old New Zealander who'd been playing for the wonderfully named Honda Heat team in Japan. And 19 is Tom Denton, played over 60 games for Leeds. This is the interception by Andrew Trimble that set up the Nick Williams try for Ulster.
Yeah, no, wonderful play. We know Trimble is so good in that area. Cade does the right thing to hold on to the ball as well, and goes long body to squeeze it between the legs because he knew the support might be a little bit slow to get there. And great work by the pack again, and the pack are certainly starting to dominate those close quarter encounters.
Time back on, scrum here.
Well, it's Noel Reid who's going off. He's taken off the headgear. On his right-hand side is Professor Arthur Tanner, who's been with the Leinster rugby side for a long time. Leo Cullen has gone off the field. Jamie Hazlett, one assumes, will take over the mantle of captaincy. And Tom Denton has come into the second row, and Heinke van der Merwe, the 4 times cap Springbok. That's unfortunate for Noel Reid, just 22 years of age. So Leinster made 3 changes. Cullen, Healy, Reid off, Denton, van der Merwe and Goodman all on.
Touch! Set!
Ulster scrum underneath their own posts. Leinster getting a wee squeeze on, but then they've got a number of fresh faces in the pack. Rhys Ruddock, number 20, come on at the interval.
Here's your mark. Let's go and making the effort to get it up.
Cian Healy's been taken off.
Here's your mark.
Still gives Leinster an all-international front row, though. Michael Bend on this side against Tom Court.
Crouch!
Clock is on again. 14 minutes played in the second half. 8 points between them. Good Ulster scrum on their own put-in. Williams gets away. Has to hang on. Good tackle by Ruddock. Needs to present it for Pienaar to find Jackson. Does find Jackson. Jackson gives it an almighty wallop. Good clearance kick by Ulster. Good set piece. Couldn't kick directly from the set piece, but the secondary bit of work was excellent.
Well, that's trading ground perfect. Nick Williams, great pick off the back of the scrum. Holds Redden off long enough to get the support, get over the gain line, to secure the ball, and Pienaar, as always, perfect pass straight back to Jackson. That's a wonderful clearance kick as well, just to relieve the pressure.
Well, a good scrum by Tom Court. Look at Williams, so big and strong, and Redden did his very best to cling on to the enormous New Zealander. Sean Cronin, Toner, Redden, that's good ball. Madigan, Gordon Darcy. Bit of accidental offside there by Leinster. When you run into your own man and you have the ball and the referee deems that you gain an advantage from it, then the scrum goes to the opposition. And obviously George Clancy thought Leinster did get an advantage from that collision between 2 men in blue.
I think this is an area now where Ulster have got to seek an advantage. We see there just a little bit of miscommunication between the centre partnership of Darcy and Mackinnon. You know, that if you look at the teams at the moment, Leinster are definitely the ones that have a bit of instability in that team. The combinations haven't played that much together this season, and whereas Ulster looks a lot more settled side at present, and they want to take full advantage of that right now.
Another good Ulster scrummage. Referees penalise Leinster under huge pressure. Heineke van der Merwe faring no better against John Afoe than did Cian Healy.
There's your mark here, Peter.
Luke Marshall giving Tom Court a huge pat. Paddy Jackson coming to the near side of the field, which is probably further away than the other. But what a good strike by Paddy Jackson.
Yeah, it's a wonderful kick by Jackson. He's definitely got his kicking boots on now. You can see his confidence is just increasing all the time. And we see there again another wonderful scrum. Good control by Williams at the back as well. And another great relieving kick by Jackson. And now making her way into Leinster half. It's another good platform now to race and attack.
And let's not forget the efforts of this man, Rory Best, in the middle of the front row. All those years of wrestling pedigree, capital done in the farm, has stood him in good stead.
Let's keep that gap. I don't want you crossing.
Another couple of replacements for Leinster. Isaac Boss coming on, and the former Connacht prop, Jamie Hagan, coming on. So Michael Bent will remember his Ravenhill debut, I think. It was young Ian Henderson who took that. Best has it tucked safely in at the back. Back to Ulster, shunt forward. Here's Best, Pienaar, Luke Marshall, bit flat, but he's done well. Cross the gain line. Good tackle by Darcy. Pienaar half impeded. Jackson. Darren Cave had to readjust. Payne gets it away nicely to Trimble. Lovely hands. Robbie Dyack at scrum half. Jackson. John Afoa. Pienaar, Jackson, Mrs. Williams, Marshall, Rory Best. Characteristic spiral inside. Pienaar again, Jackson. Henderson takes the tackle. Nice presentation, Pienaar. Jackson. Has he overdone that one? Yes, he has. Good covering back by Isaac Boss, wearing number 21.
Well, that was a pity. Ulster will be a bit disappointed how that petered out, because it was very, very good play. All started from a very good charging run by Luke Marshall in the centre of the park, and you know, that was certainly one that he certainly got over Darcy. He took a little outside step, and Luke Marshall's power and pace just got him to the outside. And probably the one disappointing thing from that was just slow ruck ball materialised from that. He just got a little fraction quicker with Leinster running back in defence, then something might have opened up for the Ulster backline.
Yeah, that's good.
George Clancy getting the old electronics sorted out. Peter Fitzgibbon in the background. Ireland blessed at the moment with a lot of very good referees. And there are two of them together. Peter Fitzgibbon touch judging tonight, or assisting tonight, call it what you will. And Darren Cave has gone off the field. And Adam Darcy has come on. That's interesting. Jared Payne is going to go to outside centre. And Adam Darcy comes on for his first game this season for Ulster. Here we come again. There's Sean O'Brien, who by and large has been kept reasonably well shackled by Ulster. And here's the former Ulster scrum half, Isaac Boss. Pienaar charges again. Well, he is the specialist in that department. And but for an awkward bounce, that might have been Ulster's third try. Leinster still though in possession. Williams clatters through, trying to make it difficult for Isaac Boss, and the referee's given the scrum to Ulster.
Well, yet again, we might see it here again. Ruan Pienaar, we've talked about it in the first half. He's the charge down specialist, and yet again, look where he comes from. He comes from about 20 yards back, throws himself straight into that. I mean, wonderful bit of play by Ruan Pienaar. Great intensity, great pace. He saw it coming a mile off, and that's what's awarded Ulster to scrum now.
Well, when you played as many international games at half-back, and he's played 37 at scrum half for South Africa and 16 at number 10, so the radar was there, so he knew exactly what was going to happen. Ulster scrum. Jamie Hagan now on the Leinster tight head side.
Oh yeah, I agree. Let's get a bit closer. Yep, get a bit closer. Okay, farm it up. Here's your mark.
Couple of Ireland A games, Jamie Hagan, and 50 games for Connacht. Here's to see how he gets on against Tom Court. Hagan tends to bring the scrum down a little bit. A free kick against Leinster. Now we'll also go for the scrummage again and get that psychological edge. Yes, they will.
Definitely the right call. You hear the crowd are getting up as well, and the Ulster Pack will be relishing this opportunity now to really put another marker down and drive this Leinster Pack backwards.
Court bested a foe up. Great support in the second row by Henderson and McComb. Again, a bit like Rory Best, let's not underestimate the efforts put in the second row by big Neil McComb this week. Oh, Hagan has taken that one down.
You two, get your front row to respect the set. You're going down too early, both of you.
Into the last quarter of this game, Ulster leading by 8 points. By no means an unassailable lead, but they're in the right part of the field and they have got the ball in their possession. And George Clancy's come round to see what's going on between Tom Court on the Ulster Loosehead side and Jamie Hagan on the Leinster Tighthead side. Now the referee's watching, so Hagan behaved himself. Penalty against Leinster. Now at this stage, Bryn, what's the decision going to be?
Well, I hate to call it early and get it wrong, but I think it's got to be a kick of post at this stage of the game, just to increase that lead. And Ruan Pienaar's decided that that's exactly what he's going to do.
Well, there is simply no substitute for a dominant scrum, and Ulster's scrum this evening has been very, very dominant. No hesitation by George Clancy. Look at Neil McComb roaring his approval of the work that the front row has done all evening.
Yeah, I think 1 to 8 they have to take a bow at the end of this game. You know, the scrum have been all outstanding, and I think we all know that that doesn't just come from the front row. You know, it comes from the engine room, and the second row, it comes from the back row, it comes from every single one of them pushing hard and pushing in unison, and they've done that superbly so far.
Well, it's a tight old angle for Ruan Pienaar. Not even the cups of Christmas cheer are getting any attention at this stage of the game. Needs to come in. It hasn't come in. Well, the right decision to go for the post. Time is ticking away with 17 minutes remaining. Ulster fans will be wondering, are they going to rue that mistake? I hope not. Still Ulster 20, Leinster 12, but Ulster where they want to be in terms of territory.
Yeah, Ruan Pienaar would be disappointed with that miss. He would normally slot those, and certainly an 8-point lead is, as you rightly said, Jim, earlier, is not unassailable. But if they can just stay down here in the right area of the park and continue to build those phases, then they can get another opportunity.
Madigan goes long. Jackson replies. That's a very poor kick by Paddy Jackson. That's the second kick he's put straight into touch. He was under no pressure whatsoever. You wonder, is he carrying that leg a little bit, and how long will it be before we see Paul Marshall coming on, just to take a little bit of pressure off Paddy Jackson. So having missed with the kick and kicked into touch directly, Ulster find themselves back inside their own half, and it's a Leinster throw. 16 minutes remaining. Ruddock wins it. Boss, 108 times he played for Ulster. Darcy takes it forward. Boss, there's a bit of obstruction there, surely, according to the crowd anyway. A wonderful counter-attacking by Ulster. Great defending. Williams has to stay out of it, and he does. Boss almost left it for O'Brien. This is Sean Cronin. Good tackle by Robbie Dyack. Boss. Madigan. Oh, good kick by Madigan. What a belting kick by the young outside half. Well, when I say young, he's 23, which is very old these days, isn't it?
The average age of backlines these days is about 22 or 23. It's amazing. But yeah, Leinster will be a little bit happier with that. A good little inroad by Sean Cronin. We know he's a very dynamic ball carrier, gets across the gain line, and that gets Leinster on the front foot, and also means that Andy Trimble's outside winger just has to move up a little bit, because he senses that they're going to move it in the back line. That creates the hole in the backfield, and Madigan probes a very, very good kick deep into Ulster 22.
Ulster taking Ian Henderson and Nick Williams out of the lineup. Cleverly worked Dyack. Here comes Henry. Needs the support there to try to set it up. Pienaar. Well, that's a great clearance kick by Pienaar. Leinster will have the throw, but they'll have to throw from just inside the Ulster half, and Ulster really needed to make sure now. Less than 15 minutes to go and 8 points between them.
Well, whenever even 9 you can box kick into touch like that from inside his 22, I mean, it's just fantastic. The amount of pressure that takes off the rest of the team, and now little Paul Marshall coming on to replace Pienaar at 9, and Pienaar moves out into the 10 channel, where he's been familiar enough most of the season. He's had plenty of cameos in that area, and it shouldn't weaken Ulster too much.
Scrappy ball. Isaac Boss did his best with it. He has to take it on, but he's strong enough to take on most forward packs. Jamie Hagan at scrum half. Leinster just inside the Ulster half. Good Ulster defence, and Leinster have conceded about 10 metres. Here comes Boss. Madigan. Good positional play by Trimble, and well taken. That's not a bad kick by Trimble at all. Madigan got back.
Keep retreating, 18, just stop now, 18.
Somebody has to call for it. Somebody does call for it. It's Robbie Dyack. Adam Darcy. First touch this season for Ulster. Andrew Conway, what's he going to do? Kick into space. Well gathered by Darcy. Remember his wonderful break that set up the match-winning try against Claremont last year? Pienaar. Madigan steps back inside his 22. Fergus McFadden right there on his own. Little tackle by Tom Court. Referee's playing advantage to Leinster. He's got his hand out for a penalty. Ulster must have came in the side, so it is going to be a Leinster penalty, and Isaac Boss thinks about taking it quickly. 12 minutes remaining. 12 to Leinster, 20 to Ulster.
Ulster will be happy enough for that passage of play. Obviously be disappointed with the penalty at the end of it, but in terms of the aerial battle, they were having no difficulty in keeping the territory and keeping the ball firmly down in the Leinster half, and obviously they'll be wanting to continue to do that for the rest of this game and not take any chances in their own half. And it's good to see Adam Darcy on. You know, he's almost the forgotten man of Ulster rugby this season. He's had a couple of outstanding games for the Ravens, and we'll certainly be looking. He'll be keen to try and exert himself into this game nice and early.
Yeah. Remember, he's played no fewer than 50 games for Ulster, and was a very good buy. And speaking of very good buys, one has gone off and one is coming on. Nick Williams has left the field, having scored what could well be a conclusive try for Ulster. Gets a very generous round of applause. His style here has really pleased the Ravenhill crowd, and he goes off, and the man who's replaced him is on the field is Roger Wilson. Boss, Madigan, Mackin. Good covering tackle by Pienaar. Mackin had slipped inside Luke Marshall. Boss, Sean O'Brien scored a couple of tries here a couple of seasons ago as Leinster romped home. Here's Jamie Hazlett. Good work by Luke Marshall. That was pretty brutal. Boss taken on by Toner, who's caught by Rory Best, and Ian Henderson, who's very nearly stolen it and might have stolen it. Well, the referee says Ian Henderson was doing something illegal. I thought he was on his feet.
You have to roll away.
The referee says you've got to roll away, and it's Rory Best, I think, has gone to the bin.
It's the first offence, he's not rolling away.
Well, 11 minutes remaining, and Rory Best is in the bin. Well, this could be very interesting indeed, Bryn.
Yeah, well, that's definitely changed the complexion of the game right now, and Ulster now down to 14 men pretty much for the rest of the game. It's going to be a big ask, and they're going to have to play smart rugby now. To play rugby in the right areas of the park, not take any chances, and have to be disciplined, and that's the key, and that's where they've made just a couple of errors in this half. They've allowed Leinster to get into the half with a couple of penalties, and we see here Toner taking the ball, you know, Best and Henderson on straight away. Best, you know, his arms are out. I'm not sure how he can roll away from that, and
that's a dreadful decision by George Clancy. That's a dreadful decision. I mean, Rory Best is lying there. He's doing his best. His legs are trapped. He can roll no further away than his legs allow him, and that's a very bad decision. And you know, if this is nailed by Madigan, there's only 5 points between them, and Leinster have a chance to win this game. Here is Madigan. And would you believe it, the most important kick of the evening from a Leinster perspective, and Madigan, having nailed 4 out of 4, has missed the most crucial one of all.
Well, I think we can safely say there, Jim, that was justice prevailed. You know, there's no doubt Rory Best could not get out of the way, and if anything, whenever I saw that at first at live, I thought that Henderson had actually done very well to steal the ball, and it actually should have been a penalty the other way. So
Pienaar gets it away. Boss. Sean O'Brien. Taken by Henry and Dyack. Boss against his old teammates. Devin Toner. Tackled by Henderson. Toner's made good ground. Boss again. Here comes Madigan. Tried to squeeze underneath Robbie Dyack's body. Boss. That's knocked forward by the replacement. Andrew Goodman. Advantage to Ulster. Taken by Big Ian Henderson. Paul Marshall. Well, they were squad mates and teammates for a couple of years, Marshall and Boss, but no love lost there. And you can see what the Ulster crowd think of that from Mr. Boss.
They certainly didn't enjoy it, and I think they were waiting for the touchdown to put his flag up, and to say that it was definitely offside and definitely a penalty. Marshall gives Boss a little tap on the head, a bit of friendly banter. I think just we'll have a laugh about it afterwards.
Well, this was the incident. That was a very good tackle indeed by Craig Gilroy. Here comes Henderson. Made a lot of ground down this near touchline. Boss was taken out of it and he came through. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. He went for the arm, wasn't slapping the ball.
We were well used to seeing that with Isaac Boss for many years here at Ulster. He's a very committed, very, very determined player, and there's no doubt that he was coming through the gate there, and he's quite entitled to have a swipe there. And while Marshall was clearly disappointed, I certainly don't think it was foul play.
Interesting replacement by Ulster. Robbie Dyack has gone off, and Rob Herring, who started life as a back row forward and he's now been employed by Ulster as a hooker, has come on to play in the back row. Because of course, I do beg your pardon, because Rob Herring has in fact come on because Rory Best is off and they have to have a hooker. I was sort of looking at other replacements, but it's silly of me. So Ulster have now got a hooker on. Referee's blown the whistle several times.
I don't think the guys could hear me, so we're going to have it again. The guys here just stood up. All right.
Rob Herring on for his 10th Ulster appearance. Quite forget that Rory Best had gone off the field because other people, the sin binning should never have happened, so they're all assuming that Rory should still be on. 7 minutes remaining, 8 points between them.
Touch! Set!
Not a bad Ulster scrum. Marshall again blocked by the clever Boss. Here's Pienaar. Needs some men to get back and help him. Chris Henry gets there the quickest. Penalty against Leinster. Hands in on the ground. George Clancy's conscience bothering him, maybe?
That looked a little bit tit for tat. I think I'll give a penalty here to Ulster, and you know, it's maybe the right call, but Ulster just now need to slow the play down. But I mean, Boss is quite entitled to do that, to have a go, and Marshall will be disappointed, but he's maybe just got to try and get the ball away just a fraction quicker.
Desperately competitive, Isaac Boss, 32 years of age. So pleased when he played in front of his mum and dad for Ireland and New Zealand last year in the Rugby World Cup, and you were with him for many years as a squad member, and what a great squad member he was, wasn't he?
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, Isaac Boss is the epitome of a squad player. He's involved in everything, from not just a rugby perspective, but a social side of things as well, and he drives everything forward and a hugely positive influence on everything around him. And I think we can see now that the Ulster support base now getting full of voice and driving this team on, and obviously now getting into Leinster's 22. It's important now that they hold on to the ball, keep possession, run that clock down for a few minutes.
Well, what a terrific kick we had there by Ruan Pienaar. Ulster a forward short, remember. Herring, well, great take by Ian Henderson. The baby of this Ulster side, even younger than Paddy Jackson. Here go Ulster again, Rory Best or no Rory Best. Chris Henry, the ball tucked in. Still moving forward. Ulster still going forward. Referee's going to give the penalty to Ulster, has given the penalty. Pienaar poised to have a drop at goal. Marshall has a go himself. Well, the crowd would have loved that, but Leinster read it well. Still there for Ulster. Chris Henry with the dummy. Ulster 2 or 3 metres away. Marshall, good switch. Pienaar, crossfield kick. Well gathered. Oh, what a score for Trimble! Magnificent from Ulster. Gathered brilliantly by Trimble from a superb crossfield kick by the talented Pienaar, and that puts the tin hat on it, and you couldn't wish for a better end to a game if you're an Ulster fan.
Absolutely wonderful kick by Ruan Pienaar, and I have to say, initially I thought, is this the right option? As soon as he kicked that would have meant that the advantage was over. They would no longer have the penalty, they would no longer have the opportunity to kick for post and get 3 points and run the clock. But that's the confidence in this side. They had the confidence. Trimble was clearly shouting for it out wide. It was a very, very good from the forwards once again. They're driving it on. Marshall and Pienaar in constant communication there, and then Pienaar takes the right option, as it turns out. Crossfield kick to perfection, and Andrew Trimble finishes off with a plum.
We'll get another wee look at the finish of that, because it's all eyes now on Ruan Pienaar, who wants to get this taken pretty quickly. Maybe Ulster feel there's another try in it. 3 tries to 0. We've got the try coming up in the second. There's Pienaar with a conversion. He's given it a nice little smack, and right between the posts it goes, and Ulster now leading by 27 points to 12. And there may be time for something else. Let's not anticipate it. Look at that, Bren.
Oh, it's wonderful play by Pienaar. Inch perfect on the kick. But what's important as well is Trimble took it at pace. He started from wide, and that's exactly what all the best wingers do. They start from wide and they attack the ball coming in. It means that they've already generated the pace and the momentum is going forward.
Knocked on by Ulster. Leinster have the advantage. Here's Madigan. He's been very busy all day. He can run and he can kick. There's a little overlap there. This is Conway, the new man for Leinster. Boss, Sean O'Brien. Good solid tackle there by Ulster. Gordon Darcy makes a little bit of ground. Here's Boss again. Jamie Heaslip. Ulster have brought on the replacement for his first cap, Alan O'Connor, formerly of Leinster. Here comes Andrew Conway. Ulster trying to hold them out, don't want their line crossed. Devon Toner doing his very best, even he can't stretch from there. Oh, this is dangerous. And Conway just lost his footing when the line was at his mercy. Wonderful Ulster defence. Jamie Heaslip pretty close to the post. Leinster looking to finish with something from this. They're 15 points adrift. They need to score twice to get the losing bonus point. They've set it up nicely. Boss, surely they must get it from here. Wide it goes. In goes McFadden. Good try for Leinster. McFadden still going, trying to scramble as close to the post as possible. A little bit of niggle there between McFadden and Paul Marshall. But Leinster finished with the flourish. Ulster would not have wanted that, as they brought on a couple of replacements.
No, it was good intensity by Leinster, good passage of play, and Ulster just eventually were going to get broken down. The more phases went through. Very, very good pass by Madigan. Trimble was the only thing he could do was to come in 5 yards out from the line to try and block the pass. Madigan read it very, very well, just waited a split second and was able to just put a lofted pass in. What's important from an Ulster perspective now is that they hold their discipline. If this kick goes over, they don't want to allow Leinster to get back in and get a losing bonus point.
Well, that was a very good kick indeed by Madigan. So it's now 27 points to 19, 8 points adrift. Leinster be looking for 3 more points to get themselves a losing bonus point. They were denied the losing bonus point against Claremont in the Heineken Cup. Ulster brought on Callum Black, incidentally, for Tom Court. And the man wearing number 19, former Leinster Academy player Alan O'Connor. Taken by Madigan. O'Connor throws himself into it. Boss. Sean Cronin. Luke Marshall strong on the tackle. Black there as well. Here come Leinster. Into the last minute of this game. Leinster have got to go some 60 metres to do anything. Van der Merwe, the replacement prop. Boss. Here's O'Brien. Boss again. Madigan. Mackin. Nearly got away. Roger Wilson hung on there. Madigan ran into Boss. Box knocks it forward. George Clancy saying the ball was knocked on in the tackle by White, in other words Ulster, but 20 seconds remaining. And although it's a Leinster put in, and it looks like Ian Madigan's tweaked an ankle, is there time for Leinster to do something?
Well, there's time for them, there's no doubt. They'll probably have one more play, one more crack at it, but the best they can possibly hope for is to convert a try, and that still won't be enough to win the game. And so I think we can safely say that this is going to be an Ulster victory, and you know, this is going to be massive for Ulster, massive psychologically. It's been you know, one of those games we've been looking forward to in the fixture list. December was always going to be a very, very difficult month for Ulster. They've come through it exceptionally well. Leinster has not been a happy hunting ground, even at home at Ravenhill, and this has been a tremendous, tremendous victory, particularly with Rory Best off for the last 10 minutes of this game.
This may well be the last set piece of this game. Only seconds remaining. Once the ball goes dead, it's going to be game over. And Ulster have won for only the second time against Leinster in 19 meetings between the two provinces. Referee says, let's do it again. Now that is time up. Is he going to allow that scrum to go on? And I think the answer is yes. Crowder saying, come on George, blow your whistle.
Get tight here and straight.
Leinster will have to run it from here.
Crouch.
Callum Blacklow on against Jamie Hagan. Robbie Dyack incidentally has come back onto the field. So Ulster back up to 8 forwards. That's a great shove. Boss. Leinster trying to get it wide. Here's Conway. Bit of a high tackle. Andrew Trimble puts everything he has into that one. Scoring of Ulster's third try. Here come Leinster again. Full marks for their stickability, but that's what you'd expect from the European champions. Boss, narrow side by Leinster. Look at Trimble giving it everything. Luke Marshall in there too. Leinster might just have made that available. Well done by them. Van der Merwe. Remember, Leinster looking for a bonus point. Great tackle by Pienaar on Boss. Jamie Heaslip. Rhys Ruddock took it forward. Sean O'Brien. Tackle was by Dyack. Leinster within goal-kicking range. Madigan. Darcy. Ball goes loose. Into touch. That's going to be it. George Clancy blows his whistle. And Ulster have beaten their oldest interprovincial rivals. 27th of November 1875 they started it all. And here at Ravenhill on the 21st of December 2012, Ulster have done something which very few Ulster sides have done in recent memory. What a scoreline. Ulster stay proudly unbeaten at the top of the Pro 12 League, having beaten their oldest rivals by 27 points to 19.
Well, it's the Ulster fans who are celebrating tonight after a rip-roaring interprovincial win. A powerful performance up front led to a penalty try in the first half. Ulster kept up that intensity in the second half, and the pressure eventually paid off when Nick Williams bulldozed his way over for a second try. But they saved the best to last when Andrew Trimble flew through the air for another touchdown. It's an impressive interprovincial win over Leinster by 27 points to 19. Incredible atmosphere at Ulster Rugby headquarters tonight, Maurice and Tony, and that is quite a statement made by Ulster.
It's a massive statement of intent, not only to within Ireland but also within Europe. I mean, to come and take on the European champions and defeat them in the manner in which Ulster did, minus the last 10 minutes we were down to 14 men, unjustly I thought, but I mean their total performance throughout was an exceptional.
Tony?
Mark Ann's coming through down the gauntlet to them early on. Stephen said that he had to win and repay the faith that the spectators have shown in them all year, and they've come up to the mark. Fantastic second half performance.
The fans are having a bit of fun. Tom will thank you, and he is your man of the match tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he set the platform along with Jonathan and Rory Best in the front row, but I mean, Tom had a huge amount to play for since obviously being dropped from the Autumn International Series, and I think he sent Mr. Bent back to Taranaki.
And obviously that was quite a statement after last week's loss as well. A great way to bounce back, Tony.
Great way to bounce back. Ulster didn't play particularly badly last week, Stephen. There was just the small details, some basic errors. We saw a few of those early on in this match, but as the game progressed, we managed to iron those out on a very, very workmanlike, professional performance, especially from the front eight, with two young, quite novice second rows who again grew in stature as the game went on and both picked up a lot of plaudits this evening.
Okay, let's hear from the man of the match, Tom Court.
Well, Tom, this is your award. Congratulations. You've beaten the European champions. How significant could that result be for your season tonight?
I think psychologically it's a massive boost for us, you know. Last week we were all very disappointed with how we played. You know, we got outplayed at home, which it was very disappointing. So the boys were out to sort of prove a point tonight, I think. Obviously last time we played these guys was the Heineken final as well, where they put a bit of a score on us. So other than sort of playing for positions for the Irish team and different things like that, I think it was just a point to prove that we can beat them. I mean, it's been a while since we have, so it was good for all the boys to get one back up and show that we are genuine contenders this year. We just need to be more consistent.
How satisfying was it the way the scrum performed?
Look, you know, we've been ticking away quite nicely all year. Maybe not as well last week as we would have hoped, but the scrum's been one of our big strong points this year. So we just wanted to sort of keep it going and really use it as a weapon tonight, and it worked out for us. It got us good.
Congratulations, Steve.
Well, Tom Court, it was quite a performance by him tonight, Morris, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's exceptional. As I said, they set the platform to have the likes of Craig Gilroy out wide and stuff like that. I mean, look at this run. He's very dynamic. He's looking for the gap. Something like last year we've seen Tom looking for contact. This year he's looking for the space to try and attack. And again, in the scrummaging there, he's just immense enough.
Yeah, scrum time, Stephen. Both Leinster tight heads had a torrid time open this evening. Tom's done it the hard way. He's been much maligned by a lot of different people, by press alike, and tonight he's really come out with both barrels, and he's fired both of them as well, and he's very impressive. He takes his rugby very seriously, and that's something that's, you know, you don't always realise that with these guys, but he takes criticism to heart, but he's answered his critics tonight.
And can Ulster do the Interpro double? Munster up next?
Well, it's another challenge, a different challenge. Last week they put in a very poor performance by their own standards against Northampton. Going down to Munster and Thomond Park is a massive challenge, but it's one I think that the squad will embrace and will go on to try and win.
I mean, this place is absolutely alive tonight. It's hard to hear yourself here.
Yeah, it's great. You know, there's a real festive atmosphere around the place, but the team have backed that up, Stephen. Big crowd have stayed at the end to support them, and you know the team have come back out and they're taking their applause, and it's very, very justified.
Okay, Tony Morris, thank you very much indeed. As I said, the next game is against Munster on the 29th of December. Join us on BBC 2 at 5:20.